It's been so hugely busy and exciting. And to be here, I still feel like I'm in a dream, you know. You kind of feel yourself welling up almost when you kind of realise where you are, you know, and this is the ultimate for a young singer. I come from a family of musicians, and so music has always been a big part of my life. I started my studies with the intention of going into medicine, and I'd always studied piano and I'd always sung in choirs. And I took a year out from my studies and took some singing lessons, and it was then that I really felt that I could develop my voice and decided to focus on that. I entered a competition there called the Lexus Song Quest, which Dame Kiritikanawa won, and Jonathan Namalu actually. And that paid for an airfare for me to audition over here. And I auditioned at the Royal College of Music and did their opera course and a master's for 3 years. Then went to the National Opera Studio after that, and from there I came here. So it's been quite a very full-on 4 years. The Jette Parker Young Artist Program is, you have to go through a very elaborate series of rigorous auditions. It's whittled down from hundreds to 5. Possibly the most exciting room for me at the moment because it's my name. It's my first one. Yeah, and yesterday I had my first Sitzprobe on the stage with the orchestra. And it was the first time I'd sung on the stage since the auditions for getting onto the program, so that was quite special. A typical day in the life of a young artist is, it usually starts at 10:30, but sometimes earlier. We have 3 or 4 music coachings, and they can be any time during the day. 2 or 3 language coachings a week. We have a personal trainer, group movement classes, stage fighting classes, Alexander technique specialist, a movement specialist, and usually we're involved with productions. So yeah, it's a very full week, but it doesn't really feel like work, to be honest. We have 2 or 3 coachings with a music coach every day. And where a teacher works almost primarily on technique, coaches work on a much wider perspective of what you're singing. And they tend to go with interpretation and style. They might notice some technical things that they can help with. But yeah, it is an essential part of our training. Jean-Paul, who was coaching me before, he has been a friend of mine for a few years now, and he was at the opera studio with me. And it's so lovely being able to spend all day working with your friends, you know. You just develop such lovely relationships with people. Every coach has their own particular area of interest or speciality, and like, for instance, Jean-Paul, of course, is French, so he was picking up all the very detailed language issues with my son French before. C'est. Did I go C? Sorry. All of the work with coaches is incredibly detailed. It's an amazing wealth of knowledge that they have, so they're an essential part of our training. In Hansel and Gretel, I'm playing the Sandman. It's actually hard to tell from this production whether he's a benevolent or malevolent creature. I think it's up to the audience to decide, really, but he's trying to convince the children that he's a very good spirit. The children are obviously very, very scared when they see him. It's a really interesting costume. I love it. I feel a bit like Yoda flying on the stage. And yeah, it's a challenge as well, the costume itself. The mask has a few restrictions because the sight and hearing are affected because the ears kind of protrude over and cover your own ears. Also, your hands, well, my hands I should say, are playing my feet. And I have an actor behind me being my arms the whole time. And there's a lot of motion involved and otherworldly kind of pulsating movement. It's really fascinating. The music is beautiful as well. It's kind of a luxury to have a debut where you're not just singing in an ensemble, which is of course very fun and I love it anyway, but it's sort of a bonus to have this little really beautiful song where the focus is on you just for a few minutes, you know. The costume for the Sandman requires a lot of preparation. The makeup is really elaborate, quite heavy, and my makeup call before the show is, I think, 3 hours. And in order to make the mask, which is made of a very, very soft rubber, I had a plaster cast made of my head and shoulders. First they did the back, and then they covered my face with some blue dental quick dry gum, which just molds to your face like rubber, and then covered the front half with a plaster cast. So I had no sight or hearing for an hour. I could only breathe out of my nostrils. My mouth and eyes were covered, and I thought it would be terrifying, but it was actually quite therapeutic. The mask itself, on the inside, of course, has that cast of my face, and the outside is the character's face with the funny upper lip and crazy ears and huge Neanderthal forehead and ginger hair. So it's really unusual, but it's an amazing effect. It's actually quite nice having someone standing behind you. You kind of feel like you've got a nice support there. And of course they move their body with yours, and to be so conscious of your body moving is actually quite a lovely way to sing, because you kind of forget about concentrating on this and you just sing. When I told Dame Curie that I was singing it, she said, "Oh, I used to sing that to my children as they went to sleep." I thought, it's enough of an endorsement for me to want to sing that aria. So yeah, it's a really lovely role. I just covered an Adriana Lecouvreur, which Angela Gheorghiu and Jonas Kaufmann were the title roles. So I got to sit in rehearsal when they were doing production on stage, just sitting and watching them every day. And it's amazing how much you learn just from watching these people, you know, and sitting there with your mouth open going, I would never have allowed myself to even dream that I would be here now. So it's just something that will always be quite amazing